And it's done. It was quick. But Titans hire former GM assistant of the Chiefs, Mike Cyborg Borgonzi. We'll see how this goes. What is happening? Welcome back to another Titan Bros video. I am your host, Gabriel Pilcher, joined by Josiah Pilcher, me brother.
How's it going?
It's going. Welcome in. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
I'm already in the show. I just welcomed you.
This is a show, and you are welcomed in this show.
Appreciate it. This is how much show prep we do. 0. I basically take about 2.5 minutes to create a thumbnail. We sit down, like, what are we talking about? And you're like, oh, we're talking about GM. I'm like, all right. Then we just start talking. It starts. So yep. That's why it looks nice and raw. But anyways, now that we're 1 minute and 15 seconds into the video and nothing of substance has happened, let's go ahead and hop right on in here. So Tennessee Titans had down to 6 GM finalists. I'm going to try to remember them, but I probably won't. We got Mike Borgonzi, Ed Dodds. There was Ian Cunningham. What's the guy from the Packers that everybody thought we were going to go after?
Oh yeah, that's what I thought.
Eric Sullivan, John Eric Sullivan. That's 4. Then there's the guy with the Bills, Terrence. And there was one more. I don't remember what it was. I was kind of okay with all of them except for 2. Ian Cunningham, for 2 years in a row now, keeps getting GM interviews, and nobody ever hires him as GM. So it kind of makes me wonder if maybe he ain't ready yet. So that's why I was not on board with him. And I didn't like the Ed Dodds from the Colts because the Colts look like an organization you're wanting to try to emulate.
Yeah. And if I'm honest, I know way more like what I want in coaching than I do in GM. Like coaches such as I have way more of opinion. I want this, that, this. GMs, I am way less plugged in and what I want. You know, I know what looks good. I know when a GM's doing good or bad, but before we bring them in, I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. But I would say that one thing that needs to be a must to me, they need to come from an organization that's been doing well. You know what I mean? Like you said, for instance, you know, do you really want someone to come from the Colts organization? Like the Colts is not doing well right now. You know what I mean? Why would you ever bring somebody in from there? Yeah. That doesn't mean everybody that works for a bad organization is bad, but it's, you know, the possibilities of it is much higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, so I agree.
I do like that this guy came from Kansas City. Obviously, Kansas City's been a good franchise for a long time. Now, Mahomes will make a lot of stuff looks good, but I would say, you know, so he passed the one test I usually have for the GM search.
Yeah, I do agree there because yes, when it comes to head coach possibilities, I'm looking at all these names thinking, oh, and sometimes I'll be honest, I don't know these people on either GMs or head coaches. So I'm not going to sit there and pretend like I do. But like I'll look at somebody like Aaron Glenn, who might get a head coaching job this year, defensive coordinator of the Lions. Lions did not have a good defense in 2023. So when we were interviewing him, I'm like, the Lions didn't have a good defense in 2023. So why do we want to make this guy our head coach? Don't like that. But then on the opposite thing, I would see like their offense would be really good. Ben Johnson was their offensive coordinator. So of course I was all down for him. But like you said, when it comes to the general manager search, I'm just kind of like, let's look at the organization and what they do.
Because if you let's say we're interviewing a guy for the head coach and he's on the offense side of the ball, you know, you can easily just let's look at the stats of the offense that he ran. Let's see how they did, you know, the last couple of years. So it's easy to do that. With assistant GM, you're kind of confused on what did he do anyway. You know what I mean? So it's a little harder to know what you're getting.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like every single job, the assistant general manager, like every organization, the assistant general manager kind of has different responsibilities.
Yeah.
And some organizations have different responsibilities for their general manager, a la the Titans. Right. Because one of the first things I want to talk about is as reports came out, because obviously I wasn't really overly enjoyed about the Ran Carthon firing, but like as reports came out, it's basically looking like this is what happened. They hire Ran Carthon to be your good old-fashioned GM. Ran Carthon brings in Chad Brinker. And then Amy's like,
That was his
ooh.
mistake.
Yeah, that was his mistake. Because then Amy's like, ooh, I like Chad Brinker. I'm actually going to promote Chad Brinker over Rand Carthon. So now Chad Brinker is Rand Carthon's boss. And then I like the way he works. Okay, I'm going to make him do what I did have Rand Carthon doing. But then it comes to a point where it's like, I don't really need both of them because they're doing the same thing. And I think Chad Brinker does better. So let's just stick with old Chad, give Rand the boot. So whether you like that or don't like that, that's basically how it went down. But GM search was underway. I was honestly pretty happy with the GM search because I liked a lot of the names. There wasn't a lot of people. I'm like, and who is that? Now, besides the guy from the Colts, Ed Dodds, I was like, I don't want Ed Dodds at all. I kind of liked the idea of Thomas Dimitroff at first, but he didn't even make it to the second wave of interviews, which is fine. But I'll be honest, Mike Borgonzi this year, and this is what I want to draw, that Mike Borgonzi this year was kind of Ben Johnson of head coach last year, where we put in a request to interview him, but I'm like, this guy's going to be able to have his pick of the litter. There's no way he's coming to Tennessee. So the fact that he did, the hottest name on the market, on the GM market, came to us was very confusing to me.
And I still am confused because we have such a weird little wrinkle, I guess, with, like, what does the GM here do and how much power does he have? Because I still think it's, what's his name? Binko? Or what was the guy's name?
Chad Brinker?
Chad Brinko, yes. I still think Chad Brinko gets the final say. And so it's not really the typical GM job. So I'm shocked that he went to us because, like you said, I think he could basically go where he wanted to go.
Yeah, which there's only 3 openings. There were only 3 openings, so I think that might be one of the reasons we were able to get a leg up on it there. Because Jets. If we would have went to the Jets or the Raiders, I think he pretty well would have been top dog behind the owner, basically.
Yeah, and again, I'm happy he chose us, but we shall see. Hopefully, him and Callahan has a good relationship. Hopefully, him and Brinko will have a good relationship because again, this is not the typical GM role, and I'm assuming he knows that obviously through all the interview process and all that. But hopefully, what I want, just some stability in this front office. We've been looking like a bunch of clowns, if you will, the last couple of years. So I just want some. Let's have some good communications here. Let's have good relationships here. Let's do your job and let's build this team back up because this team's got some holes that we need to fix this offseason. And to me, like, this guy's job starts now. He's got the first overall pick. The draft will be here before you know it. So the work starts now. So that's what you got.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I like the fact that it happened so quickly.
I do like that part.
Because again, when we got down to 6, out of the 6 finalists, there were 5 or 4 that I was really happy about. One that I was like, it'd probably be a good idea. And then the other one I was like, I'm out on. But the way it looked, I was most likely going to be very happy with whoever we picked. And with all the work that needs done sooner rather than later, getting started, it's a good thing. So, go ahead.
One thing I'll say, please, Miss Amy Adams Strunk, stay out of it, please. Like, from now on, give this guy more than 2 years, all right? And let's not fire somebody next offseason. I don't care how bad Callahan is. I'm almost like, just don't fire. Let's go in offseason without firing somebody. Come on. We're looking like a bunch of
Bush League.
Yeah.
Bush League organization.
Firing somebody every year. This is not what we do. And no good organization will, come up and doing this. So let's just stay out of it, Amy Adams Strunk.
Yeah. I'd say if he's like, we're 7 games in and we're 1-6 and she fires Ryan Callahan, I'm like, good gracious, people can't keep a job around here. And that will scare away good candidates.
And that's another thing. When you do that, you're putting really, the road out. If you are a good coach, don't go to this team. They won't give you the opportunity to build this team up. So what you're going to get is a bunch of leftovers, a bunch of coaches that just want a job.
Yeah, it's very hard to do what the Commanders are doing right now, where you go from being just awful and then the very next year, well, now they're about to be in the Final Four. So it's very rare that ever happens. So I understand not wanting to be okay with us being a 3 to 7 win team for the next 4 years. I understand not being that patient because I think that's too patient. But if we end up finishing this coming season 6-11, 7-10, we can't just like immediately like clean house and fire everybody.
Yeah,
but I will say this. I don't remember who said it. I think it was Buck Rising said it, and I agree. Mike Vrabel's the one who looks correct in all this when it comes to the Rand Carthon thing. Because Mike Vrabel was like, hey, I think Rand could be good. I don't think he's up for the task quite yet. How about we make Ran and then somebody, which, Chad Brinker would have been perfect. So it's basically what Vrabel wanted. And they're like, nope, don't like this. Rand's going to win the power struggle. You're out, Vrabel. And then a year later, Rand wasn't ready for the task. He's out.
So 2 things about that. 1, like you said, Mike Vrabel looks like he was correct. 2, it makes management of this team looks like they're clueless and don't know what they're doing. And also, why did they, in just my humble opinion, just say, "Yep, no, Ran," I always say Ron, it's Ran Carthon. Why did they just give him the power in the sense of, like, Mike Vrabel been on our team for a long time, we've had good years with him, but they basically said, "Nope, Ran's the guy, you're out of here, Vrabel." I just kinda curious why they chose him over Mike Vrabel.
Now, these are all just reports, but it has been reported. And I really hope this isn't it. But for whatever reason, whenever Mike Vrabel got inducted to the Patriots Hall of Fame and said,
Yeah, I
this is a
remember.
great organization here, there's not a lot of organizations like this one right here, so be happy with what you have, or something like that. And that just irritated her because she thought that was shots being fired at the Titan organization, and everything basically
Which I
changed.
didn't take it as that.
I don't think he meant it as that.
I think Mike Vrabel had some really good years with the Patriots, and he was getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. He had positive things to say about that team, and I think she took that way too personally, and she took that way too hard. And like, no, Vrabel's just giving a little praise to the team that he won Super Bowls with. He was with for a long time. I had no issues with that whatsoever.
Me neither. Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of times, like when Mike Markey got fired, I'm like, well, see you later. When Ken Wisenhunt got fired, I'm like, shoo, good. With Mike Vrabel, I was against firing him after 2023. I know, and I'm starting to realize I'm actually part of the minority here, but I was okay with giving him one more year.
I'm not going to lie to you and pretend because someone pull out an old tape of me, but I was okay with him being fired. I was, but now I can say I think I was incorrect. I think we should have gave him one more year. I just really wanted an offensive minded guy. I really did.
Yeah.
I was seeing Kyle Shanahan's and Sean McVay's and um, what other offensive coordinator
Andy Reid,
Andy Reid.
Zach
I,
Taylor.
I was getting really impressed with all that, and I was like, Mike Vrabel's just not that. So I was okay with it, but well, we got an offensive minded coach. We got 3 wins.
3 of them. We got as many wins in the regular season as we did in the preseason games.
So yeah, so
So,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think the whole head coach and thing last year in the last offseason, I got incorrect. So I will humbly say that.
but here's the thing: we'll get to see if the Titans were wrong in firing Vrabel, because we're going to see what he does with the Patriots. If he goes, they were really bad this year, really, really bad. So if he goes 6-11 next year, and then the year after that he's like 6-11 again, or 7-10, or something like that, and they're like, all right, Vrabel, you're out, and they give him the boot. They're like, okay, maybe he
I will
wasn't.
say he
But
has a
right,
talentless team, so it might
he
take
does
a
have a
second.
talentless team, lots of money though. He's like 128 million in cap space or something
Yeah,
stupid
but
like that.
that's why to me it's not an ugly in the sense that you have a what pick do they draft? Do you know?
Patriots,
Yeah.
I think it's like 5,
Yeah,
maybe.
so they have a good pick. They have cap space. So even though this team lacks some talent, they can at least get a good foundation going in this offseason, if
I
you
mean,
ask
yeah,
me.
and Drake May looks like somebody you could build behind.
Yes. So those positives though. So and I know Patriots are AFC, but for some reason I've always liked Mike Vrabel, and so I want to see him do well. I do, and I know I shouldn't
Same.
want AFC teams to do bad, but
Same.
I
I'm
hope we do
torn.
well.
The Titans play the Patriots too this year, or this coming season, so that'll be interesting.
That would be interesting. And just the prediction right here, if I was a bet man, I'd say Patriots are gonna beat us. Mike
Yeah.
Vrabel's gonna have that team ready to
Yeah.
go.
A lot of people said that they're going to beat us in like week 8, and then that's when Brian Callahan gets fired.
I saw that, and that is funny because I could see that being true.
I could too.
Because sadly, Amy Armstrong, and I hate that I'm seeing this side of her, but I think she takes stuff very personal. And I think Mike Vrabel, because it's in Nashville, I think, and so
Mm-hmm.
Mike Vrabel coming in town, and I can see this put a smack down on us. I can see that's what kills Callahan.
Yeah. So to put a bow on Vrabel, because we're supposed to be talking about Mike
Yeah,
Borgonzi,
sorry.
to put a bow on that, what I was basically getting at is I was against firing him. I liked Mike Vrabel. His players loved him. He was one of the most respected people in the leagues. He was on all these committees. He won Coach of the Year. Like, he was just the best coach that we've had
Yeah, he
since
was.
the heyday of Jeff Fisher.
Hmm.
And I was against firing him as soon as we did. I would give him one more year. Like if this year, if we would have gone like 6-11 or something, then give him the boot, I guess. So I'm torn. Part of me says I like him, and I think we did wrong by him, and now he's gone. So part of me says I want to see him succeed, but then another part of me says if he ends up just making the Patriots good for the next 10, 15 years, I'm like, that was
That
our
makes sense.
guy. That
That
was
makes
our
sense.
guy.
Stupid. Yep.
Yeah, I'm like, we should have him. We should have him. So,
But hey, the way I see it is he's gone. Now we got to focus to see if Callahan's the guy or not. I would say he did not give me much hope in his first year, but
no.
I'm so tired of firing people that I almost like let's give him 2 more years. Like if we have to fire him, let's do it not this year. Oh, I guess next year, but the year after that, because I'm tired of just firing people.
Yeah, this firing cycle is a little frustrating, but guess we'll see how it
But
goes. But anyways, we have a new shiny toy named Mike Borgonzi, and I'm probably going to call him Cyborg Borgonzi. That's pretty stupid, but I just came up with it earlier today. So that's what we'll call him, because we had in J Rob We Trust, we had Let Rand Cook.
Van only cooked for 2 years.
He did. He only cooked for 2 years. Now the chef has retired. But we have a comment here from DeAndre Ray. Patriots winning five games max next season. And here's the thing. That may be very well true. Like I said, they do have I think it's 128 million in cap space. So they can go splashy, super splashy if they want to. And I really think it's the 5th pick. So I think it's us, 1, Browns, Raiders are 4th, I think. I don't remember. Maybe they have 3. They might even have the 3rd pick. So they're going to have a lot of draft capital. Vrabel's going to have them ready to play. And they got like tons of money. Like they have what you need. They have a great starter pack of getting better. Yeah. And again, maybe they do win just 5 games because they only won 4. So technically, even with 5 games, that would be an improvement.
Yeah. So. I agree. I mean, I really am torn about that because I can see that being correct that they only win 5 games because it is sometimes hard to turn a team around just 1 year. What the Commandos did this year, like you said, that doesn't happen very often. So I can see 5 wins. But if you can turn a team around in 1 season, I will say the Patriots have what they need to do that. But
yeah, because I can remember there's this 1 year the Giants needed to turn their team around because they were bad, but they were over the cap. So how are you supposed to go from bad to good when you have negative money to spend in free agency? So what you actually have to do is start cutting all your supposedly good and expensive players. So.
And once again, quarterback is so important. You know what I mean? Like Drake May, is he the guy or not? And if he is, then they'll probably be just fine-ish, kind of. But if he's not, then 5 wins or less was the thing. Because that's what it came to with the Titans to me. I think if Will Levis was better, we would have had at least a decent season. I think our team was good enough for that. But Will Levis was trash.
I think we straight up lost games solely because quarterback play like 3 or 4 games. Yeah. And then a lot of other losses were just like the quarterback didn't do anything to help us not lose, if that makes any sense. Yeah, and then there'd be games we won, like against the Dolphins, where we just ran. That's all we did. We just ran the ball over and over and over.
I would say that's Callahan's saving grace to me. Is I do remember watching several times. Like the game of offense did not do much at all, so you want to blame Callahan, but this guy was showing play by play of he's calling up a play to get this player open, and that player was open, and for whatever reason, Will Levis did not go there. He would go somewhere else, miss a pass, or throw a pick, or do something dumb. And he's like, "Well, this is what Callahan wants the ball to go to, and he's not throwing there. So what can Callahan can't get on the field and throw the ball? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so that is Callahan's saving grace. That maybe the quarterback with a higher football IQ
who can see the field,
but.
Who can see the field.
Yes, because Will Levis could not. So hopefully maybe a better quarterback would make Callahan look a little bit better.
Maybe. Because I'll be honest with you, that's what my biggest issue with Will Levis was. Some people will say the turnovers, and I get it. To me, he could not see the field.
Which
I think a lot of his
result of the picks.
Exactly. That's what I'm going to say. Because a lot of times he would get the ball and he would just get locked on one guy's like, that's where I'm throwing the ball. I can remember there's this one deep. It wasn't an interception, but it was a 3rd down. And he threw a deep ball down the sidelines, like 40 yards. The back right of the end zone to I think it was Westbrook Akina. It was incomplete because it was double coverage, and that is what it was. No, it wasn't actually Westbrook Akina because Westbrook Akina had a deep crosser where he was like wide open for like a 20-yard gain if he just catches it and falls down. But he just had it locked in on the end zone, and that's all he was going. If he would see the field better, he would see Nick Westbrook Akina just streaking wide open. So Yes, I agree. Quarterback, whoever's playing quarterback, whether we draft Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, which so many people are saying Cam Ward's going to be the guy at number 1, which we'll
That
see.
surprised me a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, but Cam
I
Ward,
would
Shador Sanders, or a veteran option like, I don't know, Marcus Mariota, but somebody. I don't think that actually needs to happen, but
say this. Whoever we get, obviously they're going to crunch the tape between the quarterbacks. If we don't get a veteran, I hope we don't get one, me personally. But if we get Cam Ward or Shadir, they're going to watch the tape, and so they're going to have a better opinion on this than I am. But to me, whoever has the best vision, quarterback IQ, can read the defense, that's what I want. Older I get, more I fall in love with that than I do with arm strength or even accuracy sometimes. Like, to me, IQ as a quarterback is so important. Pre-snap stuff, so important. And Will Levis was so bad at that, like you said.
yeah.
And so whichever of those two quarterbacks I think can read the field better, that's what I want.
Here's my biggest thing. Like one of the issues with Will Levis is I don't think he was actually a quarterback. I think he's a big, strong, athletic man who can throw the
Playing
ball really
quarterback.
far. Yeah, who can throw the ball far because he's
Yeah.
big, strong, and athletic. So like, hey, play quarterback, and they just kind of kept doing it.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, Mike Borgonzi, Mike Borgonzi, he is our GM. Oh, we got another comment from DeAndre Ray coming in. Says both may not be world beaters, but are both better prospects than Will Levis, which I agree.
I
And
agree
if
with
you
that.
were to look back 2 years, I guess, almost 2 years ago, of our reaction, our instant reaction of us drafting Will Levis, we hated it. I think I gave it a D plus, and I said the only reason it wasn't an F was because we didn't use the 11th overall pick in the first round to get him. So
Yeah.
it is well documented. We are never Levisers. Now, obviously, when he was our starting quarterback, we wanted him to succeed.
Yeah.
We like to cling to some hope to see we got a little diamond in the rough there in the second round, but just
I
obviously
would
never
say
happened.
I said that when the season ended because both people I've worked with people, and you may have said it too, that said something about both these prospects, they're flawed, they have their issues, and I'm not saying that might be true, but like he said, I think they're both, to me, better than Will Levis. I think they both can be better than Will Levis in year one. And so to me, it's an instant improvement in getting whichever one you get. And I could be incorrect, but I know Mr. Ray doesn't think I am because that's what I said.
Yeah, now I can be swayed. I'll be honest with you. I can be swayed either way. Whether we draft a quarterback or try to trade back and get picks and go quarterback next year. But one thing that definitely makes me want to stick and pick is just the excitement of a first round pick quarterback. Like we haven't done that since Marcus Mariota. He is the second overall, but same difference because I think that's who the Titans wanted, whether they're picking 1 or 2 anyway. But that was just so excited. And even after his rookie season when we were 3-13, it was so exciting to be like this young guy making the next move. We got tons of cap space because obviously our quarterback's only making, $2 million a year. It was such an exciting time. So even if maybe it's a reach at first overall getting Cam Ward or Shador Sanders, it would be exciting.
It does bring excitement. Like you said, one thing that made this year very tough is not just that we absolutely sucked, but we had no future. Like, well, at least this guy, this quarterback's looking good. He's grown. He's getting better. Like that, and that just made the whole year just drag and not very fun at all. But like you said, let's say next year we're not that good. We only win 5-6 games. But you know what? We got Shadir or Cam Ward, and every week they was looking better and better. That's just like you said, brings excitement. It brings a sense of hope that right now the Titans don't have, honestly.
No, and honestly, Drake May, who we were talking about earlier, he kind of did that for the Patriots, where they were just looking just dull, just bad. And even though once he came in, they still basically lost almost all their games. People were like, "This kid's got some stuff. He's not bad." I mean, he ran for like 70 yards against us that overtime win that we got against them, but something like that. Because Will Levis, as the season went on, was clearly proven not only was he not part of the solution, he was probably the biggest problem of our team. He just got to point where he's just too emotional and just threw the ball everywhere. Anyways, why are we talking about everything but Mike Borgonzi?
I don't know. Well, we're talking draft, and that's part of his job,
I guess so.
Decide what to do with the first overall pick. Like, again, I think you and I have different opinions. You want to basically not stick and pick, right? Is that what you were leaning towards?
If they give us an offer that we can't refuse.
Yeah, see, I'm a person, I say stick and pick unless they make an offer we can't refuse. And to me, though, it's like I'm talking about like a stupid pick. Like it makes no sense. Give us 3 or 4 first rounds and a second round, like something stupid.
Yeah.
Like no other team should ever do that. And if some team is that dumb where they do something absolutely ridiculous, then yeah, we have to take it. But for the most part, I say we stick and we get ourselves a quarterback, and hopefully whoever it is and Callahan can get a good chemistry with each other, and hopefully we can get this offense up and running. Because our defense was good enough. It had some bad games, but it was good enough. Our offense was absolutely terrible.
It was. I just looked at our draft order, and there's 12, pick 12 for the Cowboys. I'm sure you've seen the whole, Deion Sanders being interested / it's a mutual interest at him being head coach for the Cowboys. If they traded, I wanted to, go up to number 1 to get Shador, and we go back to 12, and they give us like 3 first rounds, 2 seconds, and like
Micah Parsons.
Parsons, there you go. I couldn't think what his first name was. Micah Parsons. Yeah, that would that's to me, you can't turn that down. But if someone says, "Oh, we'll give her our first this year and our first next year," I'm like, that's not enough. All right, DeAndre Ray says, pick your guy at 1, or move back for a haul for no more than 3 spaces or so. So basically, is what you're saying, DeAndre, is you wouldn't want to do that trade with the Cowboys, where we're going all the way back to 12, which is what I just checked. All the way back, I think it was 12. Going all the way back to 12-ish. You'd much rather say, if somebody at 3. Actually, here's something I think the Titans should do if they're smart. Are they? We'll see. Mike Borgonzi, he looks like he might be smart. We'll see. But if the Titans liked Cam Ward, and if the Titans liked Shador Sanders both, and the Browns only liked 1, and then trade with the Browns, just do a swap like that, so that way they can pick whoever they wanted of the 2, get all kinds of picks just for moving up 1 spot, and then us get the leftover quarterback. That would be brilliant if we could do something like that.
That would be nice. But I do agree with Ray, because I said a similar thing as well. I said, okay, this is what I say. If we don't stick a pick and we trade back, I don't want to get out of the top 10. And I think I said preferably I still would like to be top 6, maybe 7. Like if we're not going to at least get a quarterback, I still want the best of something. Either the best receiver in the draft, the best lineman in the draft, the best something. Like if we don't get the best of something that's a game changer, I think this was a failed draft for us. Like I don't want to trade that first round and we pick 15 and then we get the 3rd best tight end, the tackle in the draft. Like I don't want that at all.
Yeah, I agree. We got to come up and get a premier position player.
Something maybe it's not a quarterback, but that's still he's going to win us some games, at that position.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I completely agree with you, because hopefully we probably will, but hopefully we're not picking this high ever again. At least soon, at least in the near future, because I'm sure stuff can happen. But I will say, I think I understand a little bit why Mike Borgonzi would want to come to Tennessee, because we do have the 1st overall pick, and we also have, I think, the 10th most cap space is what it said.
So there's still some attractive stuff to this team, I will say.
Yeah. Now, probably our next video that we're going to do, so I'm not going to get too deep in the woods on this, is going to be what we should do with our pending free agents. But one thing I want to talk is a lot of people are really starting to talk like we're going to release Harold Landry. What do you think about that?
He fell off at the end of the year. He started strong and he fell off. But I think he would look a lot better with another pass rusher next to him.
He only ended up with 9 sacks. And this is the first time I think he's ever played all games of the season and not gotten double digits. He started off on fire, and then he just went super cold. And we'd say 17 million or something like that. But I don't know.
The only problem is then our pass rush would be even worse. It would be like non-existent, even more than it was. You know what I mean?
That's what my biggest issue was, because I'm thinking, what if we were to cut Harold Landry, and what if, say, we did a trade down scenario to pick 4, and we pick up Abdul Carter, who's supposed to be the best edge rusher in the draft. So suddenly we have a great pass rusher in Abdul Carter, but then is this going to be Arden Key, who's still under contract for 1 more year?
Exactly. I'm and then a pass rush would still be bad. Maybe I know offense is flashy, so maybe that's why I'm saying this. But I think we need to stay with offense. I really do. I think the offense was the most dead thing we had last year.
I agree with that as well, because our defense really wasn't that bad. We were just banged up on defense, in my opinion. Pass rushers don't win games. The Cincinnati playoff game taught us that. Yeah, I remember that game. I think Danico Autry had a sack and a half. Jeff Simmons had 3. Harold Landry had 3. I think we sacked him 9 times. We were just tearing that dude apart. But when you have a quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, who decided to pretend to be Will Levis for that game and was just throwing picks like they were, I don't even know.
I do agree that I do think having a good pass rusher would be nice. I mean, don't get me wrong, but that's a position I start plugging in once we get some more important positions locked down, in my opinion. Let's say we get what is the guy top pass rusher in the draft you said?
Carter, Abdul Carter.
Yeah, if we get him, I don't think that's gonna make us win extra games. Not even one, if you ask me. Like, I think we'll get maybe extra sacks, but I don't think that's gonna move the needle of extra wins. Some positions can.
Yeah.
I don't think that position really can, especially by himself. Like you said, if we get Harold Landry and then we get him, yeah, then he's just gonna be by himself.
It'll be just a bit of a increase in production at one position.
That's it. No, I agree.
Yeah, so I'm really flip-flopping. I'm really flip-flopping back and forth on what I want us to do. For now, I'm kind of leaning go quarterback camp.
I mean, I've been on that all off season, and I assume I always will be, unless I read something about some team trying to do a ridiculous trade
King's ransom, as old J-Rob used to call it, the old King's ransom. So that's completely how I agree. Go quarterback, whoever's your favorite. I think Cam Ward has the higher ceiling. I think that Shedeur Sanders is the better fit and the better, more NFL-ready quarterback. But go with whatever quarterback you fall in love with, unless some dumb, desperate franchise just says, have all my picks. Take them all.
And some teams can be that desperate for quarterbacks. So maybe someone has some stupid package for us.
Yeah.
But like Mr. Ray said, if we're going to trade back, I don't want to be picking pick 14, 15, nothing like that,
Yeah, I completely agree. I agree because then we'll get like the 3rd best wide receiver, the 4th best tackle, or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be such a letdown after being number 1 overall, and you just get yourself like you said, the 4th best tackle. That's gonna be such a letdown.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, is there anything else you want to say before we just go ahead and get on out of here?
Yeah, we kind of changed the subject here.
We do this every single time. I make a thumbnail. We talk about it for the first 2 minutes, and then we just start talking about. Well, this is the most exciting time of the year for the Titans because we don't win games really much anymore. So off season is the most exciting time. So we just can't get ourselves to shut up because we can get this player, we can draft this player, we could be so good in a year or 2 or 3, and then how that usually goes.
Question, and then I'll say, do you think our new GM Borgonzi, is that it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Or now I can't remember what's the other guy, the guy who's actually in charge.
Chad Brinker.
Chad Brinker. Do you think those two? Who's going to be making that pick? Like, who's going to be the last one? Like, okay, this is the guy we're getting.
Well, they said they want the new GM to be able to set a draft board. So I guess he'll set the board.
Just gives it a thumbs up, basically. Like,
I think that's basically what it is. I think GM's going to GM, and Chad Brinker's basically just standing there with his arms folded, and then the GM before making the moves goes, "This is good," and he's like, he gives him a thumbs up. I think that's basically what it is.
All right, I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Guess we're gonna get on out of here. It was fun. Thank you to DeAndre Ray for jumping in here today and chatting with us a little bit. I would say we'll be back in a week, but with the off season and there not being games to preview and react to, I don't really know. We just we're very random when we decide to go random and when we don't, which is a good reason to get subscribed and turn on the notifications so that way you can see when we're getting ready to go live. That being said, I guess we're going to go ahead and get our happy heinies out of here. Tighten up, peace out, and all that jazz.